Well, hello there. Welcome to another video. Hopefully I can shoot this without my phone overheating immediately. Last time I shot a video, I think my phone overheated about 5 or 6 times in a row. It's that kind of summer in Sweden right now. It is crazy, just crazy hot for the north of Sweden every single day. It's crazy, crazy hot, and we have forest fires, and it's madness. But anyway, not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about this new double CD soundtrack for Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter and New Beginning, which I got from La La Land Records. A great website. I highly recommend checking that out if you want to buy some great scores and soundtracks. And this new Tomb Raider Steelbook Edition. First, we'll have a look at this double CD soundtrack for Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter and A New Beginning. This is the look of the main booklet here. But the cool thing is, if you bought this early enough, if you were among the first people to order this from the website, then they included a second booklet, which is signed by Harry Manfredini himself. So that's really cool. I was fortunate enough to be among one of the first. I don't know if you can still get this signed by him, but I'm fairly sure that you can still buy the double CD soundtrack from La La Land Records. I think I'm one of the few people who still prefers CDs to vinyl, but I actually prefer digital music. I prefer high-res digital music if I'm given a choice. I don't know, I really like the sound of that, the quality of that. I just think it's wonderful. So anyway, we'll have a closer look at this. You can, of course, flip this over to display the artwork from A New Beginning, Part 5. But one thing that irks me a little bit about these is that they opted to use the artwork for the old DVD sets. If you'll remember the sort of, I don't know what they were called. They were Region 1 Special Editions, Ultimate Editions. I'm not quite sure what they call them. But that's the artwork they used for those, and I think it's really, really, really bad. It's really lazy. It does not look appealing at all. Because the other sets, Part 1 and Part 2 and 3, which is also a double CD, use the original poster artwork. So I wish this would have as well. But it is what it is. Gotta move on. So here's the back with the track listing. As I mentioned, it is a double CD set, and these are identical to the discs that were in the 6-disc set, which La La Land Records released a couple of years ago, which included the scores for Friday the 13th parts 1 through 6. But that is discontinued. You can no longer buy that, so now they're doing these standalone editions, and I'm really, really, really happy about this because I finally get a chance to own the physical CDs myself. So yeah, not a whole lot else to see here. We'll just open this up. There you go. There's the disc for the final chapter. There's the back of the booklet. As I mentioned, you can kind of flip it over if you prefer that artwork on the front. And there's the disc for Part 5, A New Beginning. We'll flip through the booklet here just momentarily as well. Pretty cool liner notes here about the music, the films, and stuff. I will, of course, be flipping around the one that is not signed. I prefer to keep the one that's signed inside the jewel case there. And my good friend Paul K. Bisson was actually able to secure me another signature by Harry Manfredini, and that was for Part 1. So let's see if I can locate him. Now I actually have Parts 2 and 3, Parts 4 and 5, and we've got Part 1 right there, I think. There you go. So Part 1, signed by Harry Manfredini. Parts 2 and 3, not signed, and Parts 4 and 5, again, signed. So really, really cool. I'm just delighted to be able to secure these, and I mean signed by the maestro himself, nevertheless, it's even cooler. So yeah, go check out lalalandrecords.com if you don't mind buying CDs. I think they actually have some vinyl 2, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it's mainly CDs on their website. But go check them out. It's an amazing website, and they offer a lot of great music from different films and TV shows. Just got this in the mail the other day. This is the new Steelbook edition of Tomb Raider, starring Alicia Vikander, who is a Swedish actress who is really doing well for herself recently. I find it kind of funny that just like Angelina Jolie, she won an Oscar, an Academy Award, and then played Lara Croft. So that seems to be kind of the standard way of going about things. First you win an Oscar, and then you play Lara Croft. This is a lovely Steelbook edition. It's matte, and there's nothing raised or indented on this, but very nice artwork nevertheless. There's the back of it, side, and we'll pop it open as well. I'll just give you a look. There you go. So this film is, if you're not familiar with the Tomb Raider games, they were very popular on the original PlayStation and PC back in the 90s and early 2000s. And they were so popular, in fact, that they made a ton of games. They just kind of spat them out, a game every year, I think, for a number of years. But eventually they kind of felt like, okay, we need to take this in a different direction. We need to make a fresh start. So in the year 2013, there was a reboot game, simply called Tomb Raider again. And that game was the basis for this movie. This movie is very, very, very heavily based on that game, down to the clothes she's wearing, the weapons she's using, the tourniquet on her arm, everything about this. The main plot, a lot of the sequences are straight out of that game. And I think that's a very wise choice, because that game made Lara Croft a little bit more human and a bit more vulnerable as a character, as opposed to the sort of Angelina Jolie superhuman photo model approach, if that makes any sense. Now don't get me wrong, I love the old Tomb Raider games. They're great, and I highly recommend playing those as well. But I really, really like the new reboot trilogy. Well, it's actually not finished yet. The third and final game of that trilogy, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, will be released this September. So that's going to be really interesting to play. Anyway, it's a good, solid film. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was fantastic, but I think it's a very good Tomb Raider film. You get to know the character more. She's more vulnerable, more believable. I really like that. She's much more approachable and believable than the Angelina Jolie version. At the same time, there's, I don't know, a lot of big, epic CGI sequences. And there are some story aspects about this film that, I don't know, I felt were kind of cheap, to say the least. I'm going to try not to spoil anything, but there is a character in the film that is suspected to be dead, but then they find out that the character is alive, and it's just like, wow, that is such a Hollywood producer moment. Like, I can literally see a producer walking in with a cigar in his mouth going, oh, I think we should take that character and just bring him right back, because that will give the audience an emotional sucker punch, you know? So I thought that was kind of cheap, kind of lame. But overall, a good film, not a great one, very entertaining, easy to watch. And I would certainly be interested in seeing a sequel to this, especially if they base it on the second game, which is called Rise of the Tomb Raider. That would be really cool. I think Alicia Vikander does a very good job in the role as well. Again, she's more vulnerable. She's not superhuman. She's not super muscular. She's not a photo model. She's just kind of more down to earth and believable as a human being who gets thrust into this amazing situation. But you can believe that she can, fend for herself, and that she can become this hardened survivor. Just a solid film. Never quite great, but never quite awful either. It's a solid adventure, fun to watch, and a bit more grounded than the previous films. The ending, however, the very, very, very last sequence was a bit cheap, because it kind of feels like they've established one thing throughout the movie, and then they sort of go for a very different tone. They go for more of the classic Lara thing, and I was like, come on. Did you really have to do that? Was that really necessary? Anyway, here is the back. Came with a slip. Special features include Lara Croft, Evolution of an Icon. Explore the revolutionary Tomb Raider saga from video games to movies, and discover how Lara Croft became one of the most popular and successful female characters of all time. Croft training. Enter the gym with Oscar-winning actress Alicia Vikander as she prepares for the most physically demanding role of her career and transforms into the iconic action hero Lara Croft. Tomb Raider Uncovered. The cast and crew of Tomb Raider revealed the challenges and the fun of bringing Lara Croft's thrilling adventures to life for a new generation. Breaking Down the Rapids. Join director Roar Uthog as he and other members of the cast and crew break down the film's most exciting action set piece. Alright, that is going to be it for me today because indeed my phone is overheating as expected and it's a really hot day, so I'm just gonna go stick my head in a bucket of ice and cool off. But thanks for watching. Bye.